So, my name is Ivan. I am an associate editor of entertainment publishing and content development at Abrams Children's Books, where I primarily focus on board books, picture books, some novelty books. I also work on graphic novels and select middle grade and YA novels. My passion is really books for younger kids. So everything from like 0 to 5 is really like my sweet spot for them because I love to create for minds that are still learning what it means to create, you know. So you're really participating in their childhood with those books, and I just love that. I also work on a lot of like licensed products, which means, products that are uh, tied to some like toy that is very popular or to like a movie or a show. And I love working on those things because those are characters and brands that kids are already obsessed with. So I get to imagine when I'm working on a book, how would they interact with these characters in book form, instead of screen form, which is like something that is really important to me. I love for kids to be able to have fun with books because I think it reinforces the idea that reading is fun.
And if you could wave the magic wand and get anything in your inbox this year, what would you love to find?
I think the first title in the next big picture book series, it's something that I'm really interested in that because I think that right now we're seeing a lot of buzz when it comes to like this big YA fantasy series, the next romantasy series. But I think that big there is a lot of big stuff happening in picture books right now, and I would love to be able to maybe, yes, wave the magic wand and find the next super funny, commercial, character-driven book with a strong character that kids fall in love. And, from that picture book, it becomes like a Netflix show or maybe a movie and maybe like even gets its own theme park. In my opinion, a good character is a unpredictable character, especially in picture books. You are not tied to those rules that maybe writers that are thinking about a YA novel are tied to, where you have to develop the character a specific way. Kids don't understand what tropes are. Just like have fun, be unpredictable, and don't put yourself in a box, especially don't put that character in a box. Something that I always say is in picture books, especially when you're characterizing, it is okay to characterize in a way that exaggerates that character in a very comic way. So I always give the example of the pigeon from Mo Willems, right? If you think about the pigeon is the perfect representation of what it means to be a child, right? Like he's always told what to do and what not to do, which is basically the experience of every child because you don't have agency. But the way the pigeon reacts is always like this incredible outburst of emotion, which mimics the way a child would react. So always think about that character in a situation that would in some way mirror what a child would experience, but allow that character to react in a way the child would not be allowed to react in the normal world because it would be considered crazy.
Interesting. So you're saying that if a character breaks the rules that are imposed on children, children will usually love.
I think so. Because what children love about reading, and I think what reading really is, I think the reason why reading is really great for children is that they are allowed to escape the boundaries that they have in real life. When you think about a book, like for example, The Magic Tree House, when you have these children who find a tree house that allows them to go anywhere in the world, even in places where they really don't exist, right? They're still children. They would never be allowed to do that in a real world, right? But that's why we connect to those characters because they have something that is very much like us, but they're allowed to do something that we're not allowed to do. So when a child meets a character who reminds them of them, but the character is allowed to do some really fun things that they're not allowed to do, they will go back to the character to share those experiences with them. Let the character do the things that the reader wish they could do, and that's how they're gonna connect. The reason why I love fiction, the reason why we all love fiction is that it's a place to really find out who you are and who you want to be, because you get all of these different perspectives, right? And that's the reason why we're always fighting for different perspectives, for more perspectives, right? Because books are mirrors and windows, right? Like that's a way for you to say, oh, this is a way to exist. This is a way to be yourself, right? Or maybe you read about an experience that makes you realize I've been not really myself the whole time, you know? I've just been stuck again in those boundaries. That's the great thing about fiction. Fiction, really, allows you to think about those boundaries as not walls, but fences that you can climb. If you like them, you can stay within them. But if you don't, there is a different place to go, right? And especially for kids who are not allowed to escape places physically, right? The experience of reading really allows them to travel, right? That's why I will always say, read as many books as you can because you're gonna travel like 1,000 times because it's like the most beautiful way to experience the world, especially when you connect to authors that are bringing their own experience to that, and you will never meet them except on that page,